Welcome to Good Emma's Kitchen with me, Katie. This year we are celebrating International Women's Day 2025 with 6 amazing women from different industries. I can't wait to get started with our cook-alongs. It's going to be so much fun. We're not just cooking with 6 different women in business, we are cooking across the globe, heading to all sorts of countries to really invigorate you and entice you and inspire you to cook along with us. The recipes and the ingredients are all available over on Instagram on my stories, so please do cook along with us, get involved and feel inspired as we celebrate International Women's Day 2025 with a bang. There are 6 cook-alongs for you to enjoy with either brunch, lunch or dinner each week. I really hope you enjoy this series. I've loved making it and I've loved cooking along. Our final guest of this series is none other than Emma from Move with Emma. She is just a delight to be around. She gets you moving. She helps you to understand that even if you're not feeling it, you still need to move for your mental health or your physical health. She is really real, she's really authentic, and I can't wait for you to meet her. We are going to be cooking dinner, a family-friendly dinner with her, and it's going to be really fun to get to know her more and see how she has literally accelerated action with her business and moved it forward to be part of her community and create an impact with the people that she works with. Welcome! This is the final day of the series International Women's Day 2025. I have loved cooking with you, and tonight we have an amazing guest with us. I cannot wait to cook with her and the kids. It's a midweek meal special. It's on a Wednesday and we are going to be cooking with the lovely Emma from Move with Emma and PT in her pocket. She's going to talk about how she has accelerated action in her business. We're going to head to Spain and make some delicious meatballs and patatas bravas together. And hopefully the kids will be joining us and it's going to be so much fun. Hello! Hi guys. Hi family. Welcome to Cooking with Katie for International Women's Day 2025. I am introducing Emma and her family. So she can talk to us about her business and a pussycat as well, but I don't know the name. So hopefully in a step they're going to introduce themselves. She's going to introduce her business and we're going to get cooking.
Hello, I've dived into the screen, so I'm just readjusting. But yeah, hi, I'm Emma, fellow co-worker of Katie's. We've done lots of things together. We like running into the sea, strength training, boxing. I've got Penny Wren here. Penny, are you going to come and say hello? And we had Winnie, and Esther is chilling. She's not joining us, but that's okay, because Penny loves to cook with me.
Amazing. I've seen you guys at a few children's family cook-alongs, so it's really good to have you live cooking with us. We're doing a quick Wednesday midweek job. We're going to Spain. We are going to bung some potatoes in the oven for some patatas bravas. We're putting in a bit of an English spin on it because in the UK, apples are very much in season. I've got a Whopper, so I've just got one. If you've got teeny tiny ones, just use 2. But yeah, I like to be able to feel inspired by travel and all their cultures, but also be sustainable, eco-friendly and mindful of what's in season and what's in your cupboard and what's in your fridge. If you've got an onion, great. I haven't. I've got a leek because that's what I've got, so use that. I've got half a has seen better days fennel, perfect. Use it up, shove it in, loads of things. If you've got a dodgy carrot that's look a bit bendy, you can chuck those in too. I'm all about making recipes work for you. So before we get chatting, I just want to get your potatoes in. So Penny Wren and Emma, if you can get your potatoes for me. Because we're cooking them straight from scratch and we're not boiling them and we want them to be nice and crispy, I have just washed mine in some water so they're damp but not soaking wet, because the moisture in that will help it cook a little bit quicker. So I've just taken mine out of the water. So I've just got 3 potatoes. Depends how many people you're feeding. But what I need you to do is have a roasting tray. You can roast your potatoes in. And we're going to cook them fairly small. So remember I taught you before, Rennie, that you make a bridge with your hand so we keep our fingers nice and safe. And we run the knife through it so it's nice and safe. So we're going to do that once. So you've got 2 halves. And you're going to put them flat on each surface. And you're going to do your bridge again and run it through again to make quarters. That's your first job. And once you've got quarters, we're then just going to cut them into 3. So we've got potatoes that look a bit like this size.
Okay, so we've got little ones. So should we cut those into about 4 or something, do you think?
Yeah, if potatoes are quite small, then put them into 4.
I know.
But you want them fairly small because you want them potato bravas is something that you can just pick up and shove it. They're really yummy. And we're adding meatballs into our dish as well.
Sorry. I was just going to say, patatas bravas are my favourite thing. Like when I go to Spain. Yeah.
Well, I haven't added chili to the recipe, but if you like a spice, please add a pinch of cayenne or a pinch of chili seeds in there or a pinch of chili powder. That's absolutely fine. I've just omitted it because we're doing family friendly, but an authentic recipe would normally have it in. So please do add it in if you like a little bit of spice.
Yeah, won't add spice, but yes. Anyway, Penny suggested Spain because we're watching Alan and Amanda's Spanish, whatever it's called.
Have we been to Spain?
And we've been to Spain, so that's why she wants to do Spain. She's busy way here. Oops.
We're cutting those potatoes. Are we nearly there? Are we getting through them?
We're nearly there.
Mummy, what do I do?
You should have a tray, Emma and Penny, that look a little bit like this.
Okay.
So the damp potatoes, and then what I want you to do is get your olive oil today, and as every day through our cooking school, we're using 2-in-1 from the lovely Lola and her delicious Spanish olive oil with Hampshire olive oil with Spanish heritage. It's delicious. It's full of goodness. You've got some too. Great. So add it onto your potatoes. A nice big glove. They cover all over. It's about 2 tablespoons because we're feeding more than 1 person, so that's okay. And in your small bottle is about 2 tablespoons.
There you go. I'm so excited.
And then we need to sprinkle it with some salt. So they're nicely seasoned in a really hot oven. So your oven should be about 200. You can turn it down to 190 once we pop them in. But these guys need to go in straight away. And then I can chat to you about work. So these are going straight into my oven right now. Hot.
I'm having a glass of wine. Penny's telling me off.
Oh, I haven't had a glass of wine yet. We're still in packing mode. And it's not Friday yet. So are we ready? We are going to dice our we're not going to dice our onion. We're going to get our meat in a bowl. We're going to grate our apple into our bowl of meat first. That's the first thing that we're going to do.
How many grams of meat you got?
I've got 400 because that's what my pack came in, but 500 is fine.
Okay.
Grate the apple.
If you've got a really big batch, then you can either make a big batch of meatballs or half the pack, put half in the freezer or half in the fridge and use half for today. Or you can just make a massive batch all at once and then freeze half. When we've cooked them, you could freeze half. There's no harm in each way round. Just do what works best for your family. We need to know more about your business and move with Emma and how and why you got into your business.
Sorry, really quickly, are we grating the apple into the pork mince?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Penny is very methodical, unlike her mother, and so she's very focused on it. Penny is such a good little cook. But anyway, let's talk about move with Emma. So I know, and I actually created them on the fact that I just don't have time. As a solo parent running a business, I don't have time to mess around. I've just been told not to put this voice on. What is I've got my TV voice on? Yeah. I've got my harshest critic here right next to me.
It's not coming out.
Right, I'm going to get grating. So basically, I wanted to create each minute to be able to have that movement. And I felt like, I'm juggling everything. I can never, I haven't got time to go to the gym or the rest of it. My kids are off sick sometimes. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to cancel everything. And then I wouldn't get my mood, just feel rubbish. So anyway, I was like, hang on a minute. We don't, this stage of life, we need movement, but we don't need like hours. This is not realistic. So I think people feel so overwhelmed under pressure. So I created 3 30-minute classes, and I'm live, so we've got that accountability, really lovely community. And then if you can't be there live, you can do it on demand at a time to suit.
Like that.
I love that you know that, Penny, that you're a great advertiser. You can tell everyone at school and people that you meet that actually my mum gets people moving online, and don't worry if you can't make it because you can get it in demand. That's fantastic.
She's well versed, and also Penny's been planning some merchandise for me. She said, "Mum, you got to get merch."
Absolutely.
On her, and we get
Sorry,
ready.
your board would look like this.
Yeah, we're nearly there. Just needs to do some more raffle.
And then, whilst that's being in there, you need to add about a heaped teaspoon of tomato paste. And a heaped teaspoon of paprika. Now, paprika comes in a hot paprika, smoked paprika, or sweet paprika. You can choose whichever one you would like. I have got a smoked one.
Okay.
And we're going to add some more to the sauce as well. So then your bowl should look like that.
Is it a teaspoon or a tablespoon of
A heaped teaspoon, so it's just under a tablespoon. If you're using all 750 grams, you will need a tablespoon.
I'm not.
But if you're not, then just use a teaspoon. That's fine. Well, this is a really important job, this next stage, because most places where you have meatballs have breadcrumbs in them, or they have an egg in them, and that's to bind it. Pork is quite a wet meat when it comes from a minced packet, so we're not going to use either of those binders because we're using apple and the paprika instead, but we are going to really mush it together because you really need to squeeze it all and compact it all to bring that meat together. We also need to add one more ingredient. We need to add some salt as well to season it. And you've got a good healthy pinch of good quality salt because you want all of those minerals we're using for the seasoning into that food. Keep going.
Lovely.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Right. Then it's hands in, and you want your hands splayed like this, so the meat squishes through your fingers because you want to squeeze and turn. Because it is it's quite a wet mix, so you need to really squeeze it together because you need to change the consistency of that meat. So you're going to it is very wet. Pork is a really wet meat. This is why a lot of people use breadcrumbs. But if you squeeze it firmly enough for a few minutes, it will come together quite happily. Whilst you're doing that lovely sensory hands-on squeezing, guys, I wanted to ask you about mental health and movement in your business because, you know, mental health is known to be so supported and boosted through the use of movement. So how do you do you integrate that and talk about that at all in your building of your sessions or directly with your clients?
Oh my God, for me, it's fundamental, and that is what motivates me to move. So for me, the movement for mind, it is kind of like the first goal, really, about how it makes you feel. I think the mind and body are so connected, and that's why nutrition and movement go so well together. But basically, yeah, I'd say I always try and get people to focus on how it makes them feel because I think people forget about that, and it's like actually it's so powerful because it lifts your mood, gives you confidence, self-esteem, can kind of shift your mood. So it can, like, say you've had a really bad morning, getting everybody out of the house, you've got loads of stuff on your mind. It's mindful because you've got to be engaged for 30 minutes. So I think you come off, you've got clarity, productivity, a clear perspective. For me, that focus on that as the instant results, and then the long-term results are basically about physicality. But it builds up over time, has a ripple effect on everything else in your life. It makes me a better person. It makes me happy. It gives me that dopamine. So yeah, I'm all about focusing on movement for mind and how it makes you feel, and everything else being secondary.
That's amazing. I can't echo it high enough, especially because obviously, as we know, the nutrition and movement are part of that puzzle of piecing together a positive mental fitness and mental health as much as we can. So your meat should now not look separate. It should be completely combined.
Oh,
like one.
I think I need a bit more. Can you get more paprika, please, Ken?
So you need to really mush it together. There's nothing you can't mush it enough and can't be firm enough. And then when we get to the next stage, it's the really nice stage for children to get involved in. It's really tactile, it's really sensory, about a golf ball size. My mixture will probably make between 12 and 15, depending on how big you make them, but I make mine this size.
Yeah.
And but to begin with, I put it in my hand and I really do massage it. The more you massage it, the more flavour is going to come. So I really roll it, really massage it, make it nice and round, and then I'm just going to stick mine onto my board. And we're going to keep going with that for a few more. We're going to make sure we've got enough for, I don't know how many you guys eat per people. I would probably eat 3 or 4, but it depends how hungry you are, really. How hungry are you, Penny?
Hungry. Penny's been
super hungry. So if we're talking about nutrition and mental fitness, and obviously with your amazing piece in your pocket with your online classes, do you have any kind of advice or top tips for your clients when they come to you, when we're talking about when people come with sort of a massive goal that maybe is a bit too much too soon, or they've come with a diet plan in mind, or they've come with body image stuff, and actually what's your kind of advice when you get clients that come through like that?
So Penny just answered that question in one. She said, do it for yourself, do it for how it makes you feel. But yes, on that, I would say there's no quick fixes. Always, there's no quick fixes. Regularly, I probably work with women. We now launch Fit State for Men as well. But there's a lot to unpack there, and it can go back into the 80s and how everything's focused around wonderful around the aesthetic. But yeah, I'd say, to be honest, 80% is what we put inside our body, and 20% is exercise. So to be honest, it is so important. Yeah, you can't exercise off weight. It can help and it can work together with the balanced diet about what you're putting in. I don't like restrictive diets and never have. I don't like word diet, to be honest, but I don't like any
word diet. I don't think it should be eradicated.
Yeah. But I think from my point of view, I don't like restrictions. Yeah, I like people live like life. For me, food is a pleasure, and I eat kind of what I want. I don't really eat any processed food, but if I want to have a burger, I have a burger, because it's not every day. And I think if you say to yourself, I can't have this, then all your mind wants, yeah, exactly. All your mind wants to do is have it more, and it just feels like a punishment. And I don't want anyone to feel punished. I don't want anyone to feel punitive. So I think it's about taking a long-term view. And from my point of view, for me, exercise is non-negotiable. It's about a daily habit for life. We should do it. For me, it's about it should be the same as brushing your teeth, taking a shower, putting petrol in the car. So that's my mentality. And the food, absolutely, the two things are part of the puzzle. You can't really do one without the other.
I mean, I couldn't, you're talking in front of your children are saying it right back to you. It couldn't be a more of an advocacy happening, but actually the more we eat and more we add in and the more good decisions we make for ourselves, for being our future friend, the better. And not being restrictive, not having that kind of diet culture, and just getting to know your body, how it works best for you, and how to get the best out of it through movement and nutrition is definitely my goal, being a female entrepreneur, running a business, wanting to get people confident in the kitchen, but also for you, getting people moving, getting people confident in moving, and making people stronger as well. And food is a huge part of that. So you guys should have some meatballs by now. I've got some hanging around my chopping board. So whilst you just carry on with the process, because you've got 2 of you, you've got a few, so you carry on with the process. I'm just going to wash my hands so I can cut the onion and get this sauce made, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just washing my hands quickly.
I just want to go further to that piece is like the fact that I think it's a really virtuous cycle. So I tend to focus on the exercise because I don't want to overwhelm people. And for me, it's about 3 30-minute sessions. That is enough. That is enough. 2% of your day, 6% of your week. That's enough. That is enough for us to be doing. But I think if you start doing that and putting that effort in, then there's a knock-on effect, ripple effect. To think, well, hang on a minute. I don't want to then do that and then go and eat some processed white cake. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a real
accountability effect, because they're accountable to you, not just for paying to turn up 3 sessions a week, but also to have you in their pocket, to have that kind of positivity, that reaffirming, that accountability, that kind of can do, we're all in it together mindset, because that is part of it. Women are brilliant connectors and networkers, and we're really good at doing better for ourselves when we're in it together. And I think that's definitely something that your business seems to bring to the table for everyone.
Yeah, but that like have like, because obviously it's hot when it's online, because we do our outside club, but when it's an online class, it's hard to create that connection, because we have people up and down the country that don't necessarily know each other, whatever. So we try, it's harder to create, but we still have that. I get people on a WhatsApp poll, we have messages. So when people are doing it on demand, I'm like, put a photo or put a message, because I think that motivates other people if you're doing it,
Absolutely.
as well.
It really connects.
That effort in, you start taking action, it builds confidence, and you're like, well, I've got this into my routine, so now I can focus on food. So I always say, because that was your point earlier, don't overwhelm yourself. Really look at small goals, and also anything is better than nothing. I always do like the better than. I hate zero tolerance. I just don't like it. I think it's really sort of cute. It's always like,
You've got an onion, so I just need you to dice your onion. I've got a leek, so I'm going to shred my leek. So whichever one you're cooking along with, either is absolutely fine.
How much is the onion?
How much onion do we need? Because we're just pennies on it.
A whole onion, so cut it in half, and then if you've been to one of my classes before, you'll see that I show you how to slice it into 3 and then into slices the other way round, so you can get some nice diced diced pieces of onion. This is good practice for your motor skills if you're cooking. It's really good for your left hand to be able to hold and grip, and your right hand to be able to concentrate with that movement of the knife. Those safety skills, but also knife skills, can only get better with practice. So the more you get to chop veg for your parents, the better. I would thoroughly encourage you to always offer to help and chop, because it really helps, not just with your chopping skills, but also for your writing skills, because of the way you're holding the knife. So once you have your diced onion or leek, we're going to put some more delicious olive oil, around 2 tablespoons, into a pan on a medium heat, and we're just going to sweat off those onions. Whilst they're sweating off, we're going to finely dice our fennel as well, because fennel gives a lovely flavour, and it's in season, so we should definitely be using it. If I've lost my fennel, there it is. You carry on dicing your onion. I'm just going to put my leek in so I can show you the fennel. There's no rush. I just wanted to be able to get mine on and show you. As we're talking about fitness and International Women's Day and female entrepreneurship, historically, I think that fitness has been very much a male-dominated kind of industry, but it really feels like tables are massively turning, and I've seen a real shift, definitely since the COVID days in it all. Do you barriers that you have faced making or creating a fitness business, that being a woman, being a female entrepreneur, have you had any barriers around that, around making your own business as a woman? Have you faced any yourself or come across some?
I don't think so. It's a really interesting question, because I think, okay, so I don't. Okay, Ben. I think so. People here, darling. So I think the thing is, I don't think there's barriers in terms of the. I think in terms of the industry, I think that definitely. I think what we've seen is that females really do like female coach.
Watch what you're doing. You're going to cut your finger.
I'm getting instructions here from Ben.
Safety conscious, Pen.
She's very conscious. So I think basically, in a nutshell, I think that no, I don't think we have had any barriers. I think the barriers that you find are women coming to exercise, like and their whole relationship with exercise. I think it's really that's what I found. I think the tables are really turning, like you say. Like there's a lot of I think there's a lot of successful female trainers on Instagram. That's really helped.
Yeah.
Age of life that we're at, with perimenopause and that, I think it's really nice to be able to have other women. I've definitely noticed a lot of older trainers that are really cutting through and having.
I find that really inspiring personally, having had like being still quite young to have rehabilitation issues with mobility at my age that I wasn't expecting, and like osteoporosis and hip issues. I wasn't expecting that so early on. So I found that slightly older female strength trainers or people that are in movement or personal trainers really inspiring, because it's helped me to kind of move that barrier and think, oh, actually, if they can, then I can too. I just need to learn how my body's working and how to get it stronger. And I think females in that kind of perimenopausal stage, are really inspiring to me personally on my own personal journey with movement, because as you say, a lot of it is about getting women to exercise in a way that works for them and their relationship with their bodies or their relationship with exercise.
Yeah, definitely. And I think also people that understand how the hormones are affecting your body in the life stage, because they're all experiencing it. So I think that message lands really powerfully, not because men can't do it, but I just think personally, what we find in our group is it's like women feel more comfortable to mention things that perhaps they wouldn't mention to men, and then
that feel a bit more personal, that actually they could share in an all-female group. Totally, I get that.
Like, nothing is off topic, and we can say things, and I think it's really powerful to have these support groups, as we know ourselves, because that's how we met, and to really like normalize those things. Otherwise, I think you think, oh, I'm going mad. Do you know what I mean? I'm going mad. Like this, that the emotions and how the hormones, the estrogen's low, and we're feeling teary, and we're in the rush hour of life. We've got so many people like with demands on us, on our time and pressure, and then building businesses. It's a lot, isn't it? So,
it's a lot. It's a huge amount.
Exactly.
Your onion should be nice and softening now. Make sure it's low and not burning. I've sliced my fennel, so you just need to slice half a fennel, and then I'm going to turn it around, and then I'm just going to dice it, just so it's nice and small. You can use as much or as little as you like. It's quite a punchy flavour, but I think when we're using all the fresh parsley and the tomatoes, it cuts through really nicely. Baked, if you've got the other half, it works really well in a coleslaw. It's great baked with chicken. It also works really nicely with prawns as well. That's going into my sauce now. It can be a bit tricky to cut a fennel. It takes a bit of practice. It depends how fresh it is as well. Mine's a bit, has seen better days. And then we're going to get our 3 garlic. Penny, Ren, have you got your garlic ready? You need to either grate or slice. Grating probably easier to use. We're just going to take off the skin, and we're going to either grate or slice your garlic in. If you've got particularly small garlic, then use 4. If you've got really fat garlic, sometimes maybe just use 2. It's up to you. I put 3 down as my measure, but it does depend on the size of your garlic that you're using. So International Women's Day 2025, the theme for it is accelerating action, or acceleration for women in business. And so I thought that actually that tied in really nicely with your business, as in, because you're building, for me, I think you're building a lot of strength and confidence in movement and the way women exercise.
Yeah.
Would that be a fair, I mean, are you accelerating in any other way that you can share?
That's really interesting, because I did exactly. Did you read my newsletter? Because I did it exactly on that. I always bring, well, but just to say, I'm doing my bit by accelerating that sort of action taking, because I truly believe that sticking with a fit routine and also really helps self-esteem, to create self-confidence. motivation to like really, you know, get into the workplace, whether you're going to be an entrepreneur, you've got your own business, or whether you're going back to work. So I feel like help accelerate, because it really, you know, it's particularly for mums, you can really lose confidence after having a child. And so I feel like I'm helping women at different life stages to really feel that confidence and say, yes, I can stick with this. And actually, I feel better, because for me, like we have our upper body today, I call it our power half hour. I think there is nothing more empowering than feeling strong in your body and feeling particular upper strength, you know? And it's like, yeah,
Absolutely.
So that's what
it makes a really big impact. And sometimes you know, like I was watching the other day when you were running back from the school run, or, you know, we always feel like we're too late, or we can't join in, or we're doing too much, or and we're just not feeling it today, but actually pushing through collectively to feel stronger, to know that you want to be stronger, and hitting that, you know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is that you've got to do that exercise in. And then, as Penny, you were showing even with the children last week on the bike ride, actually you didn't want to do it, but you did it. And afterwards you felt so much stronger, not just physically, but mentally as well.
I'm pretty sure that was
No, it's Esther. Yeah. So Penny. Sorry, that's Esther. Esther is not joined us here. No, Esther is she's a homebody. She loves being at home, and we struggled to get her out. Penny is like a mini me. She's always up for for getting out. So yeah, so she's like.
Esther. Sorry for getting it wrong.
Come here. That's not up front. She's chilling. But anyway, the point is, I did it again. So we've been getting out for jogs, haven't we? And then we went out for a bike the other day, and she just really, it's that barrier, it's that mental barrier. Yeah. And I think it's build up the positive memories of like experience exercise. This is what I always say when they first come on. You don't have to smash it. You just show up and actually start off with, I always tell them to leave something in the tank. So then in their mind, it's not like, God, that was awful. I did feel better, but I didn't like the process, because I want people to like the process. Then they can be more consistent. And I always say, it's what you do over a year, not over a week. Because we all, like so many of my members, are going through the same curveballs of us, had kids off sick or whatever it is. And that's the other thing. I think they said it's really nice because I don't sort of berate them or shame. I hate shame in any way, shape or form, particularly. Yeah. So I'm like, it's fine, it's over a year. Come back. When you come back, again, start over. You can reset, just like drop the weights or do it with body weight, because anything's better than nothing. And also, depending on how we feel, how much estrogen we got, because if you're low on estrogen, it'll feel really heavy for the weights and our limbs. Just take it slowly. It's literally part of our day. It's not like I've got to be lifting 5 kgs by the end of the week. It's like just...
You're not just showing that to the women that you're teaching, you're showing that to the generation that are coming up, to your children and their friends, that actually you don't always feel like you want to do it, but by building that good relationship with movement, you can always fall to it, because you know it's going to strengthen you physically, but you know it's also going to strengthen you emotionally and mentally as well, which is actually what we need as children, what we need as adolescents, and what we need as women as well, at all different ages and stages. And so often that relationship with movement or exercise isn't always built throughout the different stages that we're going through.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, it's been a constant. But yeah, the girls definitely. You want to get it in there so that they know. Because I'm always saying to them, even if they're off sick, I'm like, let's get outside. So absolutely. My classes are like fine. You know, we do that inside because that's just about getting it done, getting that strength and mobility in. Yeah. But like,
so Penny should have, you should have been watching you stirring lovely there. You should have your fennel, your garlic and your onion all in a pan. It should look nice and soft, starting to make some colour. Yeah. Smell, should have all that aroma and smell amazing. We are going to, have you got some fresh parsley there?
Yeah.
So we're going to take our stalks, if you've got some stalks of the parsley, and we're just going to cut some of the stalks up, and we're going to add them in too for some flavour. We're going to add the actual leaves later on, because otherwise they go a bit brown if you cook them too early. So we're just going to add some of the stalks, and then I want you to pour in your tomato. I've got tin tomatoes. If it's in the summer, then use fresh tomatoes and just cook them down a bit longer. So I'm going to mix my tomatoes in, and that is the basis of our sauce. We'll reduce the heat quite considerably because we're putting the tin tomatoes in, and then we're just going to raise the heat up to a nice simmer again. A good mix, so everything's all combined. We're going to add a nice tablespoon of tomato puree as well, and we're going to season it really well with salt and pepper. Pepper is really good at being a connector spice. So if you have pepper and something, it helps you absorb the nutrients that you're actually eating. So pepper helps us absorb nutrients. So it's really good to add to some of our dishes.
Good. I like a little bit of knowledge. That's like one of my classes as well, because we learned so many amazing little tips when we came to your cookery day. We will be back for the Easter one. Yeah, put it in and then put the tomato in, darling. We loved it so much because I think it's really powerful if you understand why you're doing things. And I try and do that as well on my classes, like while we're activating our glutes, because they're the muscles that protect your back, and we need to engage our core because you're sitting down all day, so they're inactive. Yeah. And then, okay. So yeah, it's really nice to be able to explain to people why we're doing certain things. Because I think they're
important to know why you're doing something. What happens when you eat certain food? Where does it go? How does it react with your body? What can it do to fuel you, to boost your mood, to whatever it is, whether we're talking about hormones, whether we're talking about fiber, or we're talking about protein, or we're talking about sleep, or we're talking about inflammation issues. There's so many topics, and food can connect and support all of those things. And it's all about, as you say, with relationship to movement. For me, with my work that I do with the one-to-ones and small groups and pop-ups, or team building, it's all about building that relationship with food that works for you. There's no judgment, there's no restriction. It's just about working out what works for you best and how to be your future friend and how to feel your best, which is exactly, I think, what Move with Emma does with movement and fitness. It's all about building that relationship with movement and exercise that works for you.
Exactly. And also, I try and get people to think about I want people to sort of be in their body, and again, like with you experiencing the food, be in their body, thinking about where has it come from, how did and why am I doing this? I think it's really good to empower people with that information, because people are smart, and it's like, don't just telling you, do it because and I think that if people are engaged, they're working harder, and that's when it becomes mindful, because they're not thinking about other things. Because I mean, how many times do you go to like a yoga class and then, well, I don't do it because I do understand meditation, but before I sort of understood how to really meditate, breathe properly, and all the rest of it, and be present. You go along and you'd be like, oh, it's not, you're because your mind's empty, you just start thinking about a to-do list. And that's why I say to people, leave the to-do list, because you'll come back so much clearer minded. Some people are so sort of frightened of letting go that they're going to forget something they need to do that day. And it's coming back, having a breath, and then going, right, now I can prioritise because I'm clearer. I've got a clearer train of thought. Because sometimes people haven't got time. It's like, what? So you just sit there and work all day. That is not productive, right? You lose your creativity, you use your productivity. So it's making your day better. Spend this 30 times, and the return on investment is your day is so much better. You're going to be in a better mood, clear.
And I think that's what they call it at Maven, don't they? A Pomodoro. You do sort of 25 minutes or half an hour, and then you break. You either take a movement, take a coffee, connect with someone, reset, and then do another bit of work. And I like that. I like that sort of sense of adding that into your mindset when you're doing exercise and movement. It's like a Pomodoro. We're just going to do 25 minutes, half an hour. We're just going to go for it, and then you can go off and do something else.
If you just go, like if you just try and do it all day, it's not good for yourself, and you start not working particularly well. Do you know what I mean? So that sort of focus. We've all got the same hours in the day, haven't we? Right? Yeah. And got the same. So it's like, how are we spending that time? I'm just going through an auditing process myself. Like, what am I doing? How am I spending my weeks? And what is moving the dial? And my business,
I think you have to. And I think, as women and women in business, we do contribute to the economy massively, but we also have to juggle so much more than men do. We have to be mothers and parents, and we also have to juggle often our workload and careers and well-being, hormone changes, and often sandwich years as well for parenting for parents as well as our children. And juggling all of that and making an impact financially to the world is really challenging at times. It is hard, but it's also so worth doing.
Absolutely. And I think we're also sort of managing like the emotional well-being of our kids. I'm not saying the dad do that, but
No, they do.
because basically I don't have any wraparound care. It's like I've got 6 hours in a day. I teach classes, market the business, and you know what I mean. That you don't know what the kids are coming home with. You want to be there. You want to be present for them.
You want to be present for them as well as present in your business.
And I refuse to do any work after like I don't know, say 6, 7. I'm off the phone and we go to that's my time with the girls because I'm never going to get that back.
No.
And
why you went into business as well, so your work life could be a balance, could be flexible, so you have the ability to be present in their lives and create an impact with them as well as what you're doing with work.
Yeah, you do, but that comes. It's really interesting you say that because this is a thing that I have found. So like my ex-husband, the girl's father. How small would you like the carrot, Katie?
Pardon?
How small would you like the carrot?
Oh, grated or diced is fine.
Small. So yeah, sorry, this is a
we need well for your meatballs. Before we go into the chat, we just need another pan for your meatballs with a bit of olive oil in. We're going to fry them off first, and then we're going to add them to the sauce. Seal the meat. So I just want to seal it by putting them all the way around the pan like I'm doing here. Yeah. And we're just going to seal them all over, and then we're going to pop them into the sauce. So just like I have now, we're just frying them off and sealing them before we put them into the sauce. Sorry, Emma. No, you were saying.
I was going to take it deep. No, I was saying. So like, I'm a primary carer. The girls go to their dads on a Thursday, another weekend, every other weekend. Like he's very present. We co-parent, and then I had so as you just broke up years ago, he one's all. And what I found, I used to get quite frustrated because he's got. I found myself getting a bit resentful because I was thinking the dads, the men in this situation, I found myself getting annoyed with patriarchy because I was like, me and Toby's ex-wife is like, got the primary carer, and still we've both got careers, and like, I was going to say, it's like we're managing the load, and then just their work, I suck up stuff and I but because like hold on a second, darling. Hold on.
Signal there on you, Emma.
That he's like, I get like that.
So you should be sealing your meatballs. I'm turning mine over now onto the other side to brown off. And we're in that flavour to make them a bit firmer, and then they'll do the rest of their cooking in the sauce itself, which releases some of the meat juices and the flavour into the sauce, and it's just a nice way of doing it. You can also do it in an air fryer. You can also bung it in the oven with the potatoes and cook them like that as well. I've just done mine on the hob for ease today, and I'm just going to check my potatoes. They just need a little look and a little shake. You can see I'm so close to the oven. So mine are looking pretty good and pretty roasted, I would say. But I am going to turn off my oven and let them sit in the off oven and rest while we make the rest of the dish.
It's safe to say we've got a very effective oven.
Yeah. I always start my oven on 200 before I put something in, especially the potatoes, and then I turn it down to about 190 to cook off. Into your sauce now, whilst the meatballs are firming up and cooking on each side, you just need to add in some paprika of choice. I'm going to add in about a tablespoon a teaspoon and a half. Because we've already put in the meatballs and we just need some extra flavour into your sauce as well. Give it a nice stir. And it should also be thickening up now. So you mind. So it should be nice and thick. Smell amazing. And have that sort of smoky scent to it now.
I'm doing this every night.
Pardon?
It's a every night.
Yes. I think some of your signal's cutting out, so I can't always hear you. I can only hear every other word you say.
Oh no.
Oh, it's probably because you're looking down, and your mic won't pick up all of it, maybe. Do, Pen. I love cooking with people. I love teaching people. I love helping children to get more confident in the kitchen and more knowledge, because it's really good to be able to know how to cook for yourself from scratch, using really good food that nourishes you and makes you feel good. So I'm pleased you're enjoying it. It's a really lovely dish. You can use it all the time. And now you know how to do it. You can have your friends round and have a girls' dinner party. Right, so you should be able to turn your meatballs over so they're brown on all sides. And they should feel quite firm, considering it's quite a wet meat. And you should have mushed it really hard. And now it should be firming up really nicely. And once they're firm, they've got some really good colour. So mine's got some really good colour on all the sides. I then just turn off the heat and add it into my sauce. You're sort of nestling them into bed.
Gary Potter, Gary Potter.
No problem. You can absolutely, you could use all the spices and the apple, and you could mix it with some butter beans would work really nicely, or some grated tofu would work really nicely as well. You don't have to use meat if you don't want to, but pork works really nicely with this. Obviously, it's a very classic Spanish dish with an English twist, putting our grated apple in. And in the summer months, when peppers are in season, or if you want to use jarred, then adding roasted red peppers to this dish is really nice too. It does sweeten it up, so you do have to balance out, but that's what the fennel does really nicely. It balances out those really sweet flavours of the tomato in the dish, so it doesn't feel too sweet. So hopefully your dish looks a bit like this at the moment. It's got a lovely sauce with some nestled. Are you at the same stage? Is yours looking a bit like that now?
We're just making sure our meatballs are properly cooked.
Sounds good. And you can cook them in batches if you've got lots to make, or if you want to make more and add some for the freezer. It's a really good time, if you're cooking anyway, to add some for the dinner you're eating and some for being your future friend, and using your freezer as your future friend. So you've got a batch ready to stick in a Tupperware, stick in the freezer, and then when you're not in the mood to cook and you're feeling super tired but you want to have good food, it's already there for you. So it's a double win, really. Yeah.
Totally.
Yes. So I asked this to every guest that we've had on, and all the answers have been really different and really interesting. So I like to know that, because it's International Women's Day, cook-alongs, we're talking about how women impact the economy, how they impact business, how they impact one another, either in their families or in their wider community. What legacy, impact or baton do you want to hand or pass on with your business? Maybe it's to your girls, maybe it's to your community, maybe, I don't know what it looks like for you, but what kind of impact or baton or passing on do you feel like you would like to do with Move?
Stop it. That is a really good question. I have been thinking about this actually recently, and I I feel that what I'd really like to pass on is an acknowledgement of the impact of movement on people stabilising their mental health. You can put it in pen. And
There's still a bit more inside.
Okay, just leave them there for a bit.
That's okay if they're a bit raw inside, because we're just making them firm on the outside, and the sauce is what heats them through the middle, and that's what makes it a finished dish. So we need to be able to put them into the dish like you're nestling them into bed, so they're over halfway in, because the heat of the sauce cooks them all the way through.
Yeah.
So all the way cooked.
So,
Yeah, no. So
should I put them in?
you can do that. On a legacy piece, yeah. So for me, it's about changing, reframing people's relationship with exercise, so that it's about how it makes them feel and not about the aesthetic, and to focus. Yeah, I mean that's it really in a nutshell, and to encourage people to find joy in it and find it mindful, and to use it as one of their tools, and to make it like a non-negotiable.
Absolutely. I think for me, movement has been a big personal battle for me due to hip surgery and lifetime of eating steroids, and not unknowingly through my family, unknowingly when I was little, and as an adult, unknowingly eating my bones and giving me arthritic issues and movement and rotation issues. So I've had a real love-hate relationship with movement for some years, and I always thought that it was the lack of my body working that was the problem. But actually, I've come to learn through using people like you or PT or other people with strength training that actually it's a lot to do with my mental health, and how I'm learning how to forgive my body and learn how it works best for me, and to go with that. And it's been a real journey, a real personal journey that I've only just started to be able to talk about, because movement hasn't been an easy thing to be able to get through. And I've always tackled the nutrition really well, but the movement has always been really painful. So it's not something that I find very comfortable or easy to get through.
That is amazing. That's really amazing. And I know we've talked about this before, but what are you doing at the moment, movement-wise?
I walk the dog every single day, and I try to do 2 or 3 some kind of extra strength movements. But honestly, it rarely happens with the busyness, and I know that I put it off because of, not from fear, but from that getting over the hump kind of feel to it, because I know it's going to be painful, and I know it's going to be sore afterwards, and I have to get through that to be able to support the hip or to support my core. And the more consistency I get, I know my brain knows that it's going to work and it's going to be great for me. But I find the emotional side is a real journey for me, and I have to journal about it. I have to make myself accountable by texting people saying, can you help me? I need to do this strength thing today, and I'm not really up for it. I need someone to hold my hand through it, because it is a real battle for me.
Oh, that's really hard, but fair play for like sticking with it and pushing through. Because yeah, I mean, that if you've got all of that stuff going on in the background as well, that's even harder. Like, so
but I find it inspirational when I see people like your children, Esther, not wanting to do it and doing it anyway. And I think, cool, if Esther's feeling grumpy, she don't want to go out for a bike ride. I definitely don't either. And I happened to go on a bike ride that same day that I saw that video. And my daughter wanted to go out on her last bike ride in her area before we move house. And I thought, absolutely. So we did. And I felt amazing. I felt free. I felt liberated. I felt part of a real connection of memory with my daughter. And I just loved it so much. And I felt so much better in my head once I'd done it. I just need to get better at doing it repetitively.
Yeah. That's the thing. Sorry, I was getting confused, but like that's the thing, because people always say to me, "Ooh, are you so disciplined?" And I remember I sort of came to exercise in my early 20s, and at that time, I mean, that was the 90s, and nobody was really doing it, so I used to get called a gym freak and this, that, and the other. But I realise now that it's my medication. It's like myself. That is my medicine, and yeah, it's really fascinating. Like my brain is so fine-tuned now that I don't really have that hump. I mean,
that's how I started doing it. So I've realised that if I put my exercise in my calendar on my phone, it says doctor's appointment with a red dot. It usually means in my mind that I've got something really important I've got to get to. And then in the subtext, I put something like PT with Emma, or yoga session, or bike ride. I will do it, because I will have already made that time in my day. because I won't not turn up to the doctor's appointment. So I find that if I trick my brain into creating that space, and I think, well, I'm already here, I might as well go and do it. That tends to help me with it.
You need, like you say, the accountability to get into it. And that's why with my onlines, I make it the same time every day. It's Tuesday to Thursday. And honestly, I get excited on a Tuesday because it's like this little amazing, like I need
community of people, aren't you?
Yeah, but also for me, it's become a structure because, you know, it's hard working for yourself. Like I need the structure, but then I get really bored if I have too much.
Yeah.
So I need rhythm, space, and that's why I'm creating what I'm doing. But I look forward to it because I'm doing workouts too, so I'm getting all the benefits, and I get really excited because we go on this little mini journey. I call us the midweek warriors, and it's like, you know, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's the same time. It's like, and I feel like people, it's like if you've got your 3, and I always say if you've done 1, amazing. If you've done 2, great. If you've done 3, wonderful. We call it the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
You know, it's great.
I love that.
I just think one of the key reasons that you just came to is that I want it at the same time every day, so it becomes like a rhythm, you know, and put it in the diary. It's like, it's not a nice to have, it's a must have. Yeah, like everyone's
essential.
People are so focused on like, oh, saving for their pension. By the way, I'm not focused on that. I'm just saying that I mean, like society, like Emma, but society is so focused on that, and I think it like it's like, what's the point? Like the life cycle doesn't really work anymore because we're all going to have to work anyway because we don't have a pension. But you still want to be able to do the things you want to do. So it's like I try and sort of liken it to paying into your pension pot because like there's no point paying the money there. Like you get to that age, like 70, and you can't do anything that you want to do anyway because you haven't looked after your body.
Yeah.
So
you need that strength and mobility to be able to live your life in the fullest way possible.
Yeah, it's not the the years in your life, it's the life in your years, isn't it? I mean, it's like it's not going to stop us from body or like some of those you know, random sort of illnesses, but it does help recovery as well if you're poorly. But also, like, it just sort of, if you think about it like that, we get one body and we can't buy another one. We can't, you know what I mean? So if we don't invest in it, it's like if we don't put petrol in the car, it's not going to go. So it's no different. But it's just that
your body with the right nutrition to be able to move your body regularly and build enough strength so that it can support you through those different ages and stages is essential. And I think when you've been talking about for the children all the way through to our age and beyond and to retirement pension age, to be able to think that actually it is about building your relationship with movement that is really critical, and it shouldn't be a nice to have. It's an absolutely non-negotiable. Movement has to be in some way part of your life daily.
Yeah, totally. And it's like you're playing the long game. So that's why I talk about the 2 sort of elements. The instant results, which is like, I feel better today and in this moment. That's my instant return on investment. But the long game is more about the sort of mobility and the like being strong for the rest of your life and being able to do things and staving off the osteoporosis. So it's kind of like a constant, it's servicing your body.
Absolutely. So if you have just joined us, or if you are cooking along with us, you should be at the stage now where you have a delicious sauce with some meatballs in your sauce, cooking through. Your potatoes should be done. And if you've need to add some spice to your dish, you absolutely can. We are cooking a Spanish delicious meatballs with patatas bravas. We're mixing 2 together tonight for a midweek winner to feed Emma and the family. And I'm just going to grab a dish because I need one. You can also make some aioli with some mayonnaise, garlic and lemon juice, or if you had some creme fraiche, garlic and lemon juice, that would work really nicely, especially if you've added heat to your sauce. It would cut through really nicely. Tonight we've kept it pretty child friendly. I've got a dish to plate up because mine are nearly ready, but before we do, we're going to chop and add in some fresh parsley into this dish. And I'm always about adding more in. And I know Emma, when she came to my class, took away her challenge. I don't know how she's got on, but you can download a free 30-day plant challenge from my website whenever you want to help you and your family think about what's in season, how to get more out of your diet, how to not be restrictive, but add in more. And so it's all about adding lots in. Today I've used leeks or onions, fennel, parsley, apple, and now these lovely parsley as well. I love it. And garlic.
I haven't put fennel in yet. Was I
Pardon?
that? I didn't put
The fennel was gone in with the onions.
Oh, I didn't put it in, but I'm going to put it in now. It's going to be nice and al dente.
So the fennel goes in at the start with the onions and the garlic, and it reduces down. It's nice and soft and gives you that all that aroma. And then you add in the tomatoes and the puree and mix it all in. You could also add a dash of apple cider vinegar if you'd like it to cut through and have a bit of sharpness. Then you add in your paprika and any spice that you're using if you'd like to have a bit more heat. And then once you've fried off your meatballs, then you add them into the pan, you tuck them into bed and let them just simmer away in the sauce. I'm just going to take out my potatoes from the oven. Yours should definitely be done.
Oh yeah, my potatoes are out.
My lovely potatoes, they're amazing. I'm going to find some tongs so I can plate it up. I love this dish. My children really love this dish, although they're not here today because we are moving house as I speak. We've got a new adventure coming up, so be able to accelerate action in my own business and grow the cookery school and education centre to be able to help and inspire more people, more businesses, more families to get confident in the kitchen. So that's my 2025 acceleration. Add your potatoes to a nice big dish. I've got a slightly smaller one that I like today because, as I said, everything is packed. I don't know if yours are ready, but mine definitely are. The sauce is really nice and thick. The fennel and the onions are all sweated down. I'm just mixing in some of that parsley onto my dish with my meatballs. And then you take your sauce and you put it over the top of your potatoes. So all becomes one. And then you have it like a sharing dish in the middle. And you put it in of the table and you share it all together. With a long, delicious meatballs and patatas bravas. And you could definitely add some creme fraiche or some aioli on top of that. So that is your easy midweek meatballs and patatas bravas inspired by Spain, cooked with Penny Wren and Emma from Move with Emma.
I'm still letting mine simmer just because I didn't.
I hope you really enjoy this dish. I can't wait to have the kids' feedback. I hope they really enjoy it. You could add some purple sprouting broccoli is in season in the UK at the moment, so you could add some steamed broccoli on the side if you wanted to add some greens in. You could add in a handful of spinach from the fridge that needs using up into the sauce and just give it a nice mix, wilt it through, not cook it, but just at the end with the residual heat. That would be a really nice addition as well. Or just enjoy it as it is, as a nice spoon, right in the middle of the family table so everyone can just dig in and enjoy it together. It is about collaboration, bringing people together, using up what you've got. It's a really nice, fun midweek dish.
Thank you so much. Enjoyed every minute.
I'm so pleased. And as we've talked about previously when you've done recipes with classes with me, just to invite everybody to do a pause, eat and reflect. It's a really nice way to bring mindfulness back to the table, to introduce mindfulness to families and friends when they come over for dinner. A pause just to give some appreciation that you've taken the time to buy the food, to think about where it's coming from, to nourish yourself, to give your time to actually make food. And then you connect with your senses and allow that gut and brain to really talk to each other through the vagus nerve and really enjoy that food and all the different flavors that it's got. And then that's your eat. And then your reflect is just a bit of self-gratitude and a bit of delayed gratification to thank yourself for all the goodness that you've put in and how you're going to be feeling on the back of making something so delicious. So it's just a pause, eat and reflect, a really nice, mindful way to introduce to family and friends. So I hope you really enjoy it. Thank you so much for joining me, Emma, and chatting to me about how you've accelerated action. If you would like to try one of Emma's classes, you can. I am going to be posting this up and I'll put all the details in there for you so you can connect with Emma, connect with her online classes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, same time every day, every week, 3 times a week. for 30 minutes. She's a PT in your pocket that you absolutely need in your life.
Oh, thank you very much, Katie. I absolutely loved it.
Good. Thank you so much. Have a great Wednesday. Take care. See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining me for my Cook Along series for International Women's Day 2025. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. If you'd like to learn how to do more of the recipes, then you can download them from my website. I'll leave the details for you. I hope you continue cooking in season and with confidence. I hope I have also shared with you a little bit of how I take on that approach mindfully and seasonally. If you'd like to work with me, then please do get in touch. I'd love to hear from you. There will be more cook-alongs for me later on in the year, but for now, I have to go and cook again with someone else to mindfully and confidently learn how to feel their best in the kitchen. I hope I will cook with you soon.